Alrighty, welcome to another episode of Superkickin with Stephen and Greg. Your favorite host right here, Stephen A. 1181. The Greg one over there. I'm sounding a little bit under the weather, so I apologize, but we'll make it through. Definitely got some news and notes to catch up on, but first off, of course, let's check in with Greg. How you doing this week, Greg? Get to start the new schedule tomorrow, right?
Oh, it started this week, so
This week, sorry, yeah.
hence the shift in days off and the seasonal schedule changes go life at the airport. So thank you and thank Stephen Nation. The dozens and dozens of Stephen Nation fans. We are here and still keeping it live. So
Yep. Well,
just back on Saturdays for the rest of the summer.
yep. So we'll be here live 11 a.m. Saturday morning. Then of course, I guess it'll be a little bit easier to help predict things with pay-per-views on Saturday. So that'll be kind of nice when we just predict them as they go and catch up on things that might happen if there's a Sunday pay-per-view stuff.
Mick Foley, the check is in the mail.
There you go. Speaking of pay-per-views, I don't know where in the world this got announced or where it is, but this is actually legit. This is a legit match happening. This is not a WWE random generator match. Almost. And Seth Rollins are set to go at Backlash, Greg. Yeah. I guess that's where we're at with Seth Rollins.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I know. They also announced, triple threat for the IC title, or sorry, US title, which makes sense after Monday night. And then they have Zelina and Rhea Ripley, but I don't know where the heck, they got this at, but yeah. Any thoughts on it?
Yeah, this looks straight out of the match generator.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
guess we'll
no
have to see Monday
story, no
night.
sense. So, we knew Seth had no real, course after the Logan Paul
Yeah.
stuff at WrestleMania, but this seems the odd direction to take him in. So hopefully it's just a one-off and,
Yeah.
get him
it
back
is,
on track.
and it's the downfall with the draft. I think they're just trying to do a couple things here and there. If anything, I know MVP will sell the match, but yeah, that's all. That's all we got on that one. The other news, I thought, a little bit small. Sorry about that, but it does say, according to WRKD Wrestling, there's a long-term pitch for New Day to feud with Imperium whenever Big E and Kofi are medically cleared. Big E versus Gunther would be the kind of the main centerpiece of it, which I love. I think Big E and Gunther would be a fantastic kind of 2 or 3 month run together, kind of see what they can do. I mean, Big E might be a good choice to take the title off and just, kind of give him something, kind of in place of the world title run that he had. Um, you would have the New Day antics, but we also know New Day comes to wrestle when they need to. So I think them versus Imperium would be a fantastic idea. I just think it's all. Kofi's probably due back whenever. His injury, I think, was just a sprain, or his wasn't the big. But I think it's Big E that we're no. There's been no big updates or no updates at all really to Big E's. Kind of neck injury or head injury, whatever it is, ailing him. So that's the big piece, when we can get Big E back. But I'm sure you're all in on this too, Greg, correct?
Oh, absolutely. New Day, when they're all together and they are amazing. They're amazing on the mic. They're amazing in the ring. Everything they do in between, those guys share a brain.
Yeah.
So they always know where the other's at. They always know what the other's doing, and it makes for fantastic matches. And the trust that those three have built up with each other, it shows out when they're having matches. And them against Imperium would be awesome because you have that perfect contrasting styles with Imperium. The ring is sacred, super military, um, style, and then the New Day was the complete opposite, fun and games, and you know pancakes into the crowd, all that stuff, and you know we saw it with the Usos after they turned and went super heel. That playing off the New Day, it just made everything that much better. So, and then putting Big E as a centerpiece, absolutely. When he comes back, the place is going to blow up. The roof's going to come off the place. Everybody's been waiting for Big E and, hoping and praying for him, that he recovers and comes back, serious neck injury. And, that's nothing to sneeze at. You can't just, you know, the first day it feels good and like, okay, I'm ready to go. Now there's a whole lot more to it than that. So, guys have done it before, but, look at Big E. The guy has the neck the size of a tire. So, I'm sure that takes longer to come back from than, smaller guys.
Oh, yeah.
So, but when he does, and we're hoping, fingers crossed, that he does, and hopefully if news like this is leaking out that he may be back sooner than later, maybe over the summer or something, and it'd be a great place to reintroduce him into the spot with Imperium, and it heads to head against Gunther. So I love it all the way across.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll kind of see that come to fruition. We'll get to some AW news later on. I think we'll just slide right into kind of Raw talk, SmackDown talk, and NXT talk. Then we'll do a little commercial break, kind of get all of our sponsors some love, and then we'll finish up the show with AW talk. So, we just got the same old kind of stuff that we've been seeing. We're kind of booking the show with the Bloodline Judgment Day. Look like they're kind of working together. And you also had Solo defeat Rey Mysterio. And then at the end, you had Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Matt Riddle defeat the Judgment Day. And then, then they teamed up with the LWO to kind of, defeat everybody, kind of ride them off. So we're getting a lot of gang warfare. We brought it up in AW, Greg, but we're starting to see it kind of play up in WWE as well. Not quite to the level of, I feel like AW, everybody was in some sort of faction or group. But you do have a lot of main players here, kind of teaming up. And it probably helps the LWO to be paired up with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which just as over as they are. That's a good way to kind of get them loving. So, because we know the Bloodline Judgment Day teaming up together, that's a fine pairing, and they're both over in their own ways. So now it's all about trying to get the LWO to that next level, and Escobar is obviously the jewel of that, trying to get him, I think, to that next level. But Solo picking up a big win over Rey Mysterio, Greg. I mean, Solo keeps picking up these wins, and you can tell they are high on Solo. They are shoving him down our throats to bring an old term back, Greg, but it doesn't feel forced, if that makes sense. You know what? Like, he's showing out when he needs to. So, give us some of your own takes on all that happened, kind of the front end and the back end of Monday Night Raw this past week.
Yeah, it was interesting, and then it was kind of a letdown. But when the Usos came to the ring and were doing their promo, and it was interrupted because the Usos and Paul Heyman were there, talking their talk, and then the Judgment Day music started playing. Yeah, I think it caught everybody off guard, like, oh, what is this? And seeing them standing across from each other, thinking about something was about to go down, like, oh, okay, this is interesting, because two heel factions who are pretty much controlling their shows, coming head to head, and then Paul Heyman does the little speech where he talks about their working together, so to speak, and to help each other with their problem. You're like, oh, okay, I knew it was too good to be true, but it's an interesting pairing, and then putting LWO with the Kevin and Sammy and trying to get them some love that way, because they're definitely not winning any matches. I think is a good idea. Also, I think they may be emphasizing these factions because when the draft comes and they take a piece out of a faction, then it's a bigger deal, because they've been in such these top level rivalries for so long. So say Solo gets drafted to Raw and the Usos stay on SmackDown, then there's your juicy talking point. if Escobar gets drafted out of the LWO, ends up on SmackDown, then what? And then so I think emphasizing all these factions and these heated rivalries may be setting us up for plucking a certain person out of that faction and putting them on the other show to make it look like a bigger deal. Same thing with Judgment Day. What if Dominic gets drafted to Raw? What if Finn or Priest, anybody who gets pulled out of Judgment Day, what's that do?
Yeah.
And, it's definitely a possibility. If this goes by without, I'd say Solo is probably the biggest piece of this, which is why he's stacking all these wins. He looks like the unbeatable monster that he's probably target number one to get drafted out of the bloodline onto the other show on Raw.
Yeah.
And setting off a whole bigger chain of events. So I think that's probably what they're up to with this gang warfare angle 2 weeks before the draft.
And like we said, I think with Judgment Day, it's all about Dom and Rhea staying together and Finn and Damian staying together. Because you can do plenty of single stuff with Finn and Damian and still team them up when you need to. So then they could also say, hey, we control both shows. So I think that is definitely coming down the pipeline. I think also you look at our next match, Damage Control is obviously going to be split up. I think we can all see that coming from miles away. Even Stevie Wonder could see this coming. Bianca Belair picks up a good win. Not really sure. Did we figure out who her next challenger is? I can't remember.
For Rhea?
No, just Bianca.
Bianca.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they said anything.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume she's not going to defend that backlash because we got Rhea and Zelina defending right now. Rhea and Zelina the kind of the centerpiece there. But any thoughts on Bianca Belair, Dakota Kai's match?
Yeah, it was a match. I mean, nothing unexpected. What probably thought it was, and we got to work hard at getting a challenge or a credible contender for Bianca if they're not continue with the Oscar angle or the EO angle. Yeah. So I'm sure they got something big planned for after the draft. Then she's going to have her new foil.
That's what I'm wondering. If you call up somebody to, even if in a losing effort, you still call her up to kind of show that woman is ready. Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar will be official. I'm really, really interested to see how those styles mix, Greg. Cody Rhodes, he doesn't work that type of stiff a match with Brock. They've never faced one-on-one. So this will be a true one-on-one first time ever. Because they never crossed paths in past. So I assume, this is legit first time one-on-one. So, and the pull apart, you got to do that. By the way, what is, I guess Brock is channeling his Walker Texas Ranger newest duster, or he borrowed Max duster from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Greg, because it looks like he's going for some Lone Ranger type stuff there. But what are we expecting for Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes?
Man, I love this segment right here. You had a half a pull apart because Cody was the only one being held back.
Yeah.
Goes out and delivers the killer promo and, is calling out Brock, and the Adam Pearce decides to be proactive and send out security when Brock's music plays. And my thought was Brock or Taker, because you had the all black long trench coat and the hat.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, he's got, I think it was wearing a hat, right?
Yeah, he had a cowboy hat on.
Yeah, and it's just all black everything, and that's a look we've never seen out of Brock. So usually it's blue jeans and a Megadeth t-shirt, and he's coming down ready to fight. But this one, it was a whole different look to him. I got some Undertaker vibes looking at him just standing there at the top of the stage, all in black, and just that smirk on his face.
Mhm.
And, then he goes back. I think anybody who's working with Brock has no choice but to know they're going to be working a stiff match, because
Oh yeah,
I don't think Brock knows how to, ease
hold
into
back.
anything.
Yeah.
That's just him being the animal that he is, and the former world baddest man on the planet in the UFC. Um, so he's going to end up in a stiff match for sure. So if he doesn't know that, he's going to get a rude awakening. But I'm looking forward to this match. It's going to be an awesome match, and like we said last week, I hope it's Brock takes his first one, and Cody takes his whooping and has to learn how to beat Brock, because
Yeah,
this
that's true.
this is juicy enough to go 2, 3, 4 matches, maybe even longer if you do it right. So, this could be a great feud that takes us through the summer and ends up in Hell in a Cell at the end of the summer. So, um, you want your main attraction in the highest profile spot, and if he's not going to be fighting Roman, then you know the next biggest attraction in the whole company is Brock Lesnar. So why not put him at top of the card that way? And you got your major money for the whole summer.
We also saw Seth Rollins defeat The Miz. Like we said, we brought up what Seth's doing next. I don't think we need to stay on that. Bobby Lashley, in theory, ended a no contest, and now we'll get the triple threat with Bronson Reed kind of there. Greg, I'll call it. I would love to see Bronson Reed steal the U.S. title in this match, but Theory winning over two behemoths is probably the bigger story for him to keep his momentum going. So, should be interested to see how Theory ends up winning this match if he does. Probably either, I'm guessing he'll get the pin on Reed just to kind of keep Bobby Lashley safe and protected how he's been. But definitely a triple threat that should be interesting to watch with, like I said, Theory's style versus just Bobby Lashley's hard hitting and Bronson Reed's kind of, a little bit of in between Bam Bam Bigelow esque style. So you looking forward to that triple threat match for the ice or the US title, Greg?
Yeah, absolutely. The Bronson Reed is looking like a beast. I love that match that he had against Brock, or not Brock, Bobby
Yeah.
last week. The no contest, end up fighting to the stands, to the crowd, and just beating the crap out of each other and having the match thrown out. But looking at those two, it looked like a great house fight, and it was a great house fight. Um, and they're making Bronson look, pretty terrorizing. So I'm enjoying what they're doing with him. Plus, backstage, they're adding layers to his character, because backstage, he looks cool and dressed up, and
Yeah.
the cool shades and everything. So they're adding a, kind of gangsterish kind of level to him.
Mhm.
Uh, behind the scenes, when you see before he puts on the singlet and gets in the ring. So I like that element of it, and letting him talk, and he's got a cool Australian accent, and he's showing that he can cut a promo. So
Oh yeah.
you need to let him do more of that. Let him get some more mic time in, whether it's in the ring or with an interview or backstage, and let that develop, because they got something right there. So I'm glad Triple H brought him back, and now you can see why, because
Yeah.
he definitely fits in this match. He's not out of his depth, and this is going to be a banger of a triple threat.
Yeah. We also saw Trish Stratus looking old school. Maybe her and Brock will be the new Duster cowboy couple, but probably not. But anyways, Trish explaining her actions. Greg, did you really buy her stuff? What she was saying?
Same old promo.
Yeah.
I was the legend. I was a trailblazer. Y'all should be thanking me. Blah blah blah. So nothing new under the sun, and this is just going to set up, you know, um, that inevitable Trish versus Lita. Maybe don't let it headline Raw one more time,
Yeah.
or do it at Backlash once Lita's come off. They've left her off TV. This week, next week could be 2 weeks, and play up the injury. But yeah, nothing new, but hopefully it gives us, a great, Legends match, either, to finish Raw and complete the storyline, or, um,
and,
on the
fin-
pay-per-view.
and finish their kind of run there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think this is a good run, and it feels like they both got what they wanted, and maybe like I said, coming back very sporadically. I don't think they're needed even in a part-time role like they've been now. So, Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville kind of got a title match that just happened Friday night, so we'll get into that on SmackDown in a minute. They defeated Candice LeRae and Michin, obviously, and like I said, just a good old everybody fights at the end to the end of Raw. So, any other last thoughts on Raw, Greg?
No, good main event. So show altogether was, decent.
Yeah.
Nothing special, but it was a good show. So,
And like we said, we're in this holding pattern a little bit for the draft, until we get the draft out of the way, until we get Backlash, and then we'll kind of get into. Well, you even wonder if Night of Champions, they'll somehow play it up, Greg. Like, anybody can fight for any title, but hopefully, they keep Raw champion, SmackDown champion, and all that good stuff. So, NXT. I wanted to get into a couple of promos we saw, Greg. I know we usually don't hit promos, but I kind of put them off to the side there. I brought up I didn't know where they were going next with the Brooks Jensen, Kiana James, and we got our answer. They're going to do a mixed tag match. They changed up Brooks, made him all hair slicked back, glasses on, looking like Kiana. Are we buying that, Greg, or do we just see this also as a ruse, and we're going to keep Brooks and Jensen and Fallon just ultimately together, and Kiana's kind of screwed out of it? Which direction do you think this ends up going?
well, I like the little character change and the wardrobe update for, was it Jensen?
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one is which. Jensen, and he looked like McIntyre from back in the day when he was clean shaven and had his hair pulled back and into the ponytail, and it's kind of what it reminded me of. I thought it was a good look for him, but he's going to need to change his character all the way over if they're going to follow through with it. But I
Do we
think
need to
it's
bring
going to
in
end
the
up.
other guy? Because isn't she dating some other dude?
Well, that's the whole thing, is that I think once the person that she's been cheating with pops up out of the ether, that is going to blow everything up.
Going
And
to screw Jensen over.
right, and in the end, maybe a few weeks later, it's going to end up with those two being back together, and
Yeah.
um, them being at probably the wrong end of with the secret lover,
Zach,
or
but Zach, whatever. Yeah.
and he's probably has a crew with him. So I think that's probably how it's going to end.
And then also, what about the Nathan Frazier talk show esque promo he was giving Greg? Looks like they're kind of giving him some character instead of I'm just happy to be here, Nathan Frazier, and I'm going to go lose matches. So I'm okay. I'm buying, giving him something, right? I mean, instead of just the I'm here, you got to you got to give them some character work to do with it. So we'll kind of see how this gets over, Greg. I'm going to assume they're going to do a lot of promo, like it's going to be a lot of video, pre-recorded videos,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe when they think he's ready, maybe doing it in the ring. But what do you think? What are your thoughts on it?
We're gonna wait and see. It was a good first start. Thought it was, kind of basic, but it's probably when you want to start basic and work your way up. Let him get a feel for what that type of promotion is like,
Yeah.
and then build off of it. See if he can talk. See if he can handle a long form kind of promo like that, and go from there. It was okay. It wasn't special, but something different, and just hopefully, they're putting their heads together back there and this was the product of it, and it leads to something else. So,
Yeah.
not everybody is gifted on the mic like, some of our favorite people. So,
Yeah.
it's going to take some work for him.
And that, and like they always bring up Dusty Rhodes. I mean, I don't know who helps with promo classes back there now, but it's a way to give him some time, and it's in a pre-recorded segment, so you can cut it, edit it, make it sound good. So,
Right.
some of the in-ring stuff, Greg. We saw Gallus defeat the Creed brothers in the Dyad. Do we see any of those? Do we see the Dyad or the Creed brothers getting called up?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I think they're not there yet. They're almost one more year down in NXT. I think was going to do it for them because I don't know.
I can almost see the Creed brothers. I think they're ready, and then you let Ivy Nile kind of work more down there by herself, but just to help the tag team division as well. Now the Dyad, I don't know what we're doing with them, Greg. So probably the longer down there, the better, right?
Yeah.
So, Noam Dar looked pretty darn good. It's hard to believe, Greg. I mean, he's been around for a while because I remember him and Alicia Fox had that little thing together in 20. Well, that was pre-COVID, so that had to be 2018 or 2019. So it's hard to believe Noam Dar's been around this long, but hopefully this is the one that really, it feels like he's so comfortable in his character. He's, his in-ring work is fine. His promo works fine. So I think within, a year or so, we'll see him possibly back on the main roster and kind of, get a full run there, whether it's, title run or not, Greg, but, really getting a legit shot up there instead of the whatever little things he was doing here and there previously. But he picked up a good win.
Yeah, I like this new presentation of him.
Yeah.
They really built him up and made him look like $1 million. I remember him being on 205 Live and getting laughed at by everybody. Izzo Amore used to kick his butt on the mic on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And, he was just kind of, he was a member of the Job Squad. So to see him, back this way, looking good, got that Heritage Cup 2-time winner, achievement to talk about. And, his in-ring looks so much better. I don't exactly remember what that finisher was, but I remember when I saw it, I was impressed by it. So, he's got some, some mojo that he didn't have back then. And, it's probably one of those cases you go away, you get better, and, you come back, ready to take your talent to the next level. So it's definitely what it looks like right now. I was impressed with his match.
Like you said on 205 Live, he showed out too. I don't remember if he ever won the title, but I know he definitely put on some good matches, whatnot. So Roxanne defeats Zoe Stark. I think you have Indy, just kind of giving out title shots like anybody, Greg. Where Jade also picked up a win. I'm guessing we'll have to do something with JC Jane and Gigi, some final match between them two. But we have Indy Hartwell, just giving out the title shots, and I'm good with Tiffany getting a shot, or just her running the gamut, heels and faces. I think is good for Indy to face because it shows she's willing to fight anybody. So I'm okay with her not really a legit title contender yet, Greg. Maybe heading into SummerSlam season, we could get a legit title one-on-one match for her, like a feud for her per se. Because Battleground, I'll be curious to see if they just kind of, do a heels versus face match type style with the women or, something like that with the title of Battleground. It makes more sense. Any thoughts on Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade picking up some wins?
Yeah, I think this is a good spot, especially for Indy, to have all these challenges coming out of the mix because one, she's looking good with the title on her shoulder, but she still has no character. and you're going to need those bombastic characters on either side of her to make her more realistic, I guess.
Yeah.
And beating down these, brash, loud mouths, and just doing the work with her in ring instead of with her mic skills is probably the best thing, because she still has a long way to go before she can impress anybody on the microphone. So, disappointed that all this time she hasn't got any better at that and making us, feel something. She, picked up the stick and did the same basic, thank you guy platitudes, this is all for you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, time to move on.
That we hear from everybody. So, she still hasn't shown she has any charisma, personality, character. And so to offset that, you're going to need Zoe Starks. You're going to need Cora Jade. You're going to need Tiffany to who know their character, own their character, and are, deep in it. If you met them off screen, that they would be that same character.
Yeah.
That's who you need in there with her to offset that. So, but I like this crop of challengers that they're coming up with for her. And like Tiffany said, she is, beatable. Until she can prove she's not, then nobody's going to look at her and think that she's going to last, or have a 100, 200, 300-day run like they seem to be loving to hand out these days in NXT and on the main roster. So, until she can prove us wrong, she is going to look beatable, and that's going to be part of, her story.
Yeah. Dijak defeats Apollo Crews after they had a run-in at the Performance Center. Usually I don't mind those little things, Greg, but I don't know. The jury is still out on me on Apollo Crews at times. And even Dijak, it's a weird kind of, I don't know, character. It's like, what is his purpose? Yes, he served out hard justice, but sometimes he loses the big matches. So, eventually you got to win. You got to win some of these big feuds. But
right.
And then Wesley did defeat Charlie Dempsey. Also looked like the guy. I can't think of his name. I had brain freeze break. Who's the guy that's been working with Charlie Dempsey?
Oh, Gulak.
Gulak. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to blame it on the cold medicine and all that. Because, man, that was a bad brain fart there. But anyways, so it looks like Gulak could get the next title shot. I don't know. Does Dijak maybe get a call up? Get him a reshot on the main roster?
Yeah, because his first run, he was pretty much screwed from the beginning with the whole retribution nonsense. So he really didn't get a fair shake to start with, and he's been off the main roster radar for long enough that we've had more than enough time to forget that ever happened. And he's rebranded himself and looks completely different. He's not wearing the stupid face paint and stuff like that. Going to come back with some weird code name for a ring name. So why not bring him up? There's plenty of places you can put him. You can install him into a faction. There's plenty you could do with him. His promos aren't great, but that'd be a great reason to put him into a faction. Say if Priest gets drafted over to, or gets drafted, and putting Dijak in his spot. I mean, kind of not an even trade, but it could be one of those swaps that levels up Dijak, and you need to make stars. That's the whole point. So something like that could happen.
Yeah, and then I was thinking in my brain about the Axiom and scripts that we get the comic book stuff again, Greg. It's okay, but sometimes I feel like that's just going a little bit too outside the box. I'm sure they'll have a good match together, but still hard to believe that's Reggie, Greg.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I would be curious how Axiom would be perceived on the main roster. I will admit that. Would kids be it? Kids love comic book characters. Would they get behind him? So I don't think he's getting called up, Greg, but just an idea that down the road, like, would people be into him? So
I know they
any
tried
other?
it with Ricochet and it didn't get
That's true.
over.
That's true.
So, when they try to these, comic book
Just too
style
much.
characters, it doesn't go over on the main roster. Johnny Gargano did a great job with it in NXT,
Yeah.
but you see they have not encouraged him to do that on the main roster. That gear that he was known for in NXT, he doesn't wear that on the main roster. So I think it's going to be doomed to fail if he tries that on the main roster.
Any other last thoughts on NXT? Then we'll get to some SmackDown talk real quick.
No, I was talking about promos.
Yeah.
I'm loving what Braun's doing.
Oh yeah.
He came out and he speared Odyssey Jones out of his shoes,
Yep. Literally.
and he's looking like a beast. And I'm loving the heel turn. He
Then you
called
had
out Chase U, and
Yeah.
you had Duke Hudson challenged him to spring break and insert Andre Chase's name
well, of course.
instead of doing it himself, Mr. MVP.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably one of my favorite spots of the show. Braun's continuing character shift, and Duke Hudson, being the scoundrel that he
It'll
is.
be interesting if he does the all black singlet, Greg, for Braun Breaker now. Like, dude, he can't be coming out in the colorful tights, right?
Right.
So it'll be interesting. And like you said, as soon as Duke is like, "Yeah, I got a match for you," it's like, "Oh, he's going to put Andre in it." So yeah, I'm curious to see what the fallout will be eventually with Duke Hudson. He might get his MVP taken away, Greg, like Reggie Bush back in the day, until they gave it back to him. But he did lose the Heisman for a little bit of time. So we might have to revoke the MVP status from Duke Hudson. So SmackDown, we saw Damian Priest, Finn Balor defeat Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. We keep bringing up Greg. Judgment Day keeps getting the wins at the SmackDown and Raws, but it hasn't paid over. It hasn't played out to the pay per view, and I really love to see them pick up some wins. Yes, Rhea, I guess technically has picked up a huge win, but I think it's time for the rest of Judgment Day to start picking up some wins at a pay per view, right, Greg?
Yeah, they've failed miserably on pay per views, and so their build up on Raw, SmackDown has been great, but they're not coming through in the clutch. So it's an okay blueprint to work with for now. Just kind of get the factions over, but yeah, they're kind of toothless.
Due.
Yeah,
I think
they're
due
definitely
for and I guess we'll see Bad Bunny back on Monday night. What that means, so we still assume it's going to be some sort of tag match announced, and I mean it's in his hometown, so why not let Judgment Day have the big match there to take him out? But I guess we'll see. So Braun and Ricochet. Speaking of Ricochet, Greg, they picked up a win over Viking Raiders. No really thoughts on my end on that. Any thoughts on your end from that match?
No, just it was a match.
Yeah. Raquel and Liv Morgan keep picking up wins. They did defeat Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. Sonya's already petitioning for a rematch, so maybe we'll get that just to kind of get that out of the way. Gunther defeated Xavier Woods in a really fantastic match. It's always nice to see Xavier Woods in these just fantastic single matches, right, Greg? Just every once in a while. I mean, I think Xavier Woods knows where his place is, and he's comfortable with that. I mean, that's what many guys have done. But then when he gets a chance to show out, he shows out. So, and then if this is a precursor to possibly New Day coming back, I think that's a good segue into that. So, any thoughts on that match there?
Yeah, I agree. I watched that match and was hoping it wasn't going to be just a squash, and it wasn't. And ended up being a really, really good match. Different finish than we expected, with Gunther using a sleeper hold to
Yeah.
put Woods out. But you're right. When Woods is called upon as a singles wrestler, he shows he still's got it.
Yeah.
He can go, and it was nice to see that. We don't see much New Day these days with Kofi being out and still waiting on E.
Yeah.
So it was good to see that.
And then Solo picks up a huge win over Matt Riddle with some help from the Usos, no DQ match. So we'll see if there's a third, maybe they just do something at the, maybe we get bring some sort of cage match or, something like that, Greg, a fight pit match. Matt Riddle's forte, maybe let him bring that back to kind of get an edge over Solo. But really fantastic match at the end of the night as well. Just the bloodline, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, they are carrying the shows, Greg. I guess we'll see if they're drafted. It's still the same, but right now that's our story.
Yep.
So, any thoughts on SmackDown as a whole?
Yep, still, carrying the flag for WWE altogether. The Usos and Solo are doing a great job with. We haven't seen hide or hair of Roman since WrestleMania, so
Yeah.
They're giving him some time off, and they're alluding to him enough to make it feel like he's still there. But
yeah,
I'm sure he needs his time off, and he deserves it.
And Night of Champions will be interesting. Who's going to be the challenger? I mean, that's probably a good way to bring Orton back, right? Just like as a filler. I hate saying filler feud, Greg, but I don't think there's really a legit contender right now for Roman, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Everybody's got something to do for the most part, and there's no obvious number one with Cody being involved with Brock, and Seth's in limbo.
Yeah.
So there's nobody whose name comes to the top of mind right now.
Let's do some commercial breaks, get some Rogue Energy talk, Elite Performance, and then we'll get right into AEW. We'll bring up a couple news and notes for them. Rampage is live tonight, Greg, so I just kind of put the segments that they've announced for that so we can kind of preview that, and we'll get into last call and kind of get that out of the way. So we'll give our commercial breaks and get into that.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Dan over at BWSPORTS1.com and Black and White Sports. And I'm wondering if you're ready to buy or sell that home, now's the time, and I got just the person for you. Mr. Sean Nugent, a.k.a. Rockstar Realtor himself. 317-503-8322. Put that home on the market. Get into your dream home with this man. Talk to Sean at Talk to Tucker today, 317-503-8322, and make sure you tell him the boys over at BWSPORTS1.com sent you.
All right, let's get into some AEW stuff. So, Goldberg possibly on AEW television, which will not happen, but they say, Tony Khan would possibly love to feature him, but he's probably asking for a lot. Is there any way in God's green earth, Greg, that we see Goldberg on AEW television?
Oh my God, I hope not. I mean, Tony Khan is leaned into the old era more than I like with Sting, and we just seen Arn Anderson come back to TV.
Oh, I got thoughts on that. Don't you worry, Greg.
Tully Blanchard, Jake Roberts. So you seem like his ears would perk up when he finds out Goldberg is available. Thank you for Triple H for not re-signing him. So first of all, yes for that. That gets my yes, no more Goldberg in WWE. But love my AEW too, and I don't want to see him there either. And seeing him, try to throw around Kenny Omega, whoever. I think somebody needs to old yellow Goldberg and just tell him just leave wrestling alone and go back to making TV shows about making knives or whatever you're doing right now, or expecting muscle cars. So I hope. Yeah, I hope he can just show enough restraint to know Goldberg is a relic and he's not useful for anything aside from a cheap pop. Yeah. And I think once, if you don't pipe in the sound for his entrance like WWE did, the Goldberg chant.
Yeah, people would actually chant it.
Yeah, you're going to see that nobody cares about this guy anymore. So, please, Tony Khan, don't do it.
Now, this one, though, is interesting because Hangman Page, AEW are in the process of renewing a potential new contract. And it's pointed out that the Page has the same representation as Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. So we could have all the pieces of original, other than Cody, but getting Omega, getting the Young Bucks, getting Hangman all back and signed to AEW, Greg, would probably is huge. Not probably, is huge. Now, I guess the other part would be, does Cody Khan want to still give them the EVP status? That, Greg, I would be very highly questioning on. So, but, and I'd love to see Hangman give a shot to WWE. He's still young enough, so maybe after this contract, maybe he does go over there. But at the same time, if you see that they all have the same representation, you think they're all going to be on the same page, pun intended, and they're all going to go the same route, Greg. So any thoughts on there? And, do we see that Tony Khan being like, you guys can be wrestlers, you can still have your ownership, but you're not being I'm getting some EV. He probably needs to get EVPs outside the company, right? In there.
Yeah, I mean, get wrestling guys who know the business, know, the ins and outs. But I think hopefully he has learned that having active roster members as your backstage or behind the scenes corporate executives is not the way to go. Yeah. Because as well intending as they may be, somewhere in the back of your mind, you're still working for yourself. Yeah. You're still independent contractors. So you still, at the end of the day, want to do what's best for you. And, you can put it under, we want everybody to look good. We want everybody to this and that. But, at some level, they're still thinking of their own best interest. So this first 3.5 years has been a good litmus test to see, okay, this is how it would work if I have active duty wrestlers running the show behind the scenes. And now it's time to just let the wrestlers wrestle, let executives, and not have the two merging in real time with guys who are still on TV every week, because it looks like a conflict of interest, and other guys who aren't as high status as the elite are going to look at that and feel some kind of way about it.
Yeah, definitely bring in or else use some, like you said, use the Tully Blanchard for at Wrestling Mind. Use Art Anderson in EVP booking agent status.
Yeah.
Dean Malenko, even Christopher Daniels. He's not really doing much on TV, Greg. He does have a match scheduled against Jon Moxley, so RIP to his other eye tonight, Greg. But I will be curious. I'd still love to see Kenny Omega just try venture out to WWE and see what he could do, because you got tailor-made feuds right there for him.
Oh yeah.
And then if they all stay, they all stay. That's fine. They're making the money. They're doing what they want to do. They have the right schedule. It's working for them, Greg. So I just do see Kenny Omega being the guy who maybe feeling like I need to do a new challenge. But
yeah, I wish that too, for sure.
And even Hangman, like I said, is 25, 26. So 5 years, he's late, early 30s. So who's to say he still can't show up in WWE in about 5 to 6 years? So.
Yeah, he absolutely can. He's a homegrown guy, but you make your name, you get bigger than big, and now you're ready for the WWE machine, and you're going to get welcomed with open arms, and you're going to be doing yourself a favor by making yourself as big as you can, and even getting WWE loyalists to look over at you.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be even better for you when you come over. That's exactly what MJF is doing right now.
Oh yeah.
People in WWE know who MJF is. So if he moves over, he's going to be the top star as soon as he walks through the curtain. I would love to see Kenny and come over and fight Roman and Seth and all the guys at the top. It would be amazing. I'd love to see that Young Bucks and Usos showdown. Take that and inject it straight into my veins. I would be here for it. I would pay real money to go see that. So I hope it happens and we see Young Bucks on WWE TV one of these days. But I understand them wanting to stay where they're comfortable and where they have the most freedom creatively.
All the league.
Totally understand it. So, may just stay in the dream match category.
All right. Well, we'll get into Dynamite. Like we said, Rampage is tonight. Kind of the downfall of AEW's Warner Brother, TNT deal, Greg, where they get booted off and have to do a new night with the NBA playoffs. So, yeah. But what do we think about the opening segment? I've seen some mixed reviews. I do think Jungle Boy was the lowest, Greg, on the totem pole as far as mic skills. He just didn't look comfortable at all, I thought, at times. And this is where, you wonder if a bulleted point list of ideas would help, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't really know for all I know, maybe he did get a scripted promo. But, we don't really know their ins and outs truly. But I thought, MJF kind of saved it. But I also think, Greg, this 4 Pillars tournament is a dumb idea because we know what we want to see. You don't need to get cute. Like I've seen a lot of times in recaps, you don't need to get cute with it, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
So the end game should be all 4 of these guys going at it. And we might still get there. We'd also saw MJF and Sammy Guevara hook up a deal. Who knows what the number was, but I thought he was just going to write like FU on there or something, Greg. But
yeah, I did too.
Wrote a legit number. And we saw that at the end of the night as well, where, MJF helped Guevara, defeat Jungle Boy with the count out. So what do you think about the beginning segment and, where we're headed with all this with the 4 pillars?
Yeah. The beginning segment, I enjoyed it. Always enjoy getting a look behind the 4th wall.
Yeah.
And you could tell there was some, live shots being fired when these three being Sammy, Jungle Boy, and Darby, taking turns going at each other and telling, what I like about you and the problem with you and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
you got some peaks behind the fourth wall, and it adds that level of reality to it that we usually don't get in a wrestling story. So I always love that. But it did seem like Sammy and Darby had more chemistry in this type of setting than Jungle Boy did.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy got off some good rounds himself, especially when he was talking to Sammy. But Sammy and Darby definitely seem more comfortable and more able to, have that kind of off the cuff,
Yeah.
talk going on. So
Yeah.
it was fun just hearing the tea being spilled, and it was starting to die a little bit before MJF came out and saved the rest of the segment. So I definitely agree with you on that. And the tournament I like it. It sucks.
Because it's it's just the three of them. It's like, if you're going to do a tournament, we gotta have some more than three people, right?
Right.
You give somebody a bye with three people, Greg. Like, come on.
I know it should have been a 4-way. Is the easiest, simplest answer, and having an elimination tournament is just a dumb idea. And so now you're going to set up MJF to go through each guy one by one is what it looks like. And that's not even a guarantee. So who knows that after he goes through the winner of this tournament, that he doesn't go off and go, I want to fight this guy next, and the whole pillar segment or story gets scrapped. So I hope that's not it, because they're focusing so much attention on it. But the 4-way was the best idea, and they've kind of, I don't know what they were smoking when they said not to do it.
The end result of Wednesday night, Greg, gives you the out that Jungle Boy should be in the match, right? Because he had the MJF playing a part in it. So
right.
I guess that's a good way to play it. But how about we're going to kind of combine? So Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter defeated Solo and Storm, Greg. But we saw who got the better end, right? At the end of this. So Adam Cole and Chris Jericho had a nice face-off. And man, I think that's finally we saw something, Greg, from the Outcast that we needed to see. We needed to see some sort of carnage. And Britt Baker has the receipt on her eye after it, Greg, because, man, that was, they finally delivered something. And, like some people brought up, hey, you could go Britt Baker and, Saraya one-on-one again. You could do a mixed tag match. There's a few different options. I still think we got to get Chris Jericho and Adam Cole one-on-one, because it sounds like they've never touched hands. Mm-hmm. So, but, if you wanted to do in the meantime some sort of mixed tag, kind of get that 2 double or enough, I'm fine with that. And it'll be curious to see what direction we go as far as what Adam Cole, Chris Jericho, what kind of match they'll have at Double or Nothing. But that, that was a fantastic segment. Nice of, Adam Cole to bring up, hey, I stole your catchphrase, baby. I kind of forgot, I didn't even think about that aspect, Greg. So that was interesting kind of side notes there. But yeah, the Outcast finally showing something besides cheap ass spray paint, and not even really making a nice L at that. So right. This is what they needed. And them working with the Jericho Appreciation Society is probably a good idea, just to kind of build them up. So give me some thoughts on more of that segment, because I think that's what really got our mojo working, Greg.
Yeah, I was like, when I saw those two were going to be doing a segment together, Adam Cole and Chris Jericho, I was like, okay, here we go, because the both of them are amazing on the mic, and it definitely delivered. Adam Cole started taking the high ground, putting Jericho over. So I always looked up to you. I took Bebe from you, and I have respect for you. And Jericho going the complete opposite direction, and the paraphrase is "Tell you suck, you terrible," and just beating them down. And this was the best thing, because it sets up their impending rivalry. And I enjoyed the part where the Outcasts do come up from whatever hole they were hiding in to ambush Britt once they've the JS has got the drop on Adam Cole.
Yeah.
I was expecting the Anna Jay to do the sneak attack
Yeah.
and set up
Oh yeah,
that.
she's a member of Jazz, isn't she? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How
So I was
about
like,
that?
that's what I was like, where are Ty and Anna Jay? I thought they were going to be doing the setup. And so to see the Outcasts come in, that's so much heat they get just for being associated with Jericho.
Yeah.
And that's what they need because they've been kind of wasted just doing the stupid spray paint thing. As old as tired, like I said, they can't even form a good L. And handcuffing Adam Cole to the rope and watching Britt get a kendo stick beat down was nice little seasoning on it. I mean, not that Britt Baker can't take a kendo stick because we all know she's taken much worse than that. But
he definitely took an eye shot there.
I didn't see the eye picture, so
yeah.
But yeah, it was a good wrinkle into the fabric there. I like that, and now you've got Adam Cole pissed off and ready to take out Jericho. You got Britt Baker pissed off, but she's going to go at the Outcast with fire she didn't have already.
Yeah.
Moving forward, and it's going to make everything more entertaining.
I guess you could also have Anna Jay and Tay, be upset at the Outcast, and you got a kind of an offset feud there too, Greg. So the Elite, we're still not back with Hangman, Greg, but we're getting there. Takeshita is just a red herring because there's no way we're going to get blood and guts without Hangman with the Elite, Greg, at Double or Nothing when they do it, correct?
Right. So that's what I was thinking too when Don
I almost
Callis
thought
comes
Takeshita
out.
was going to join with the BCC, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that was not who we were expecting him to bring out when Callis ran off stage, and
yeah,
he was coming back with somebody, but I was like, okay, Takeshita. I know he's been scouting Takeshita for a while, but to bring him out and expect him to participate, I was like, oh, okay, that's not the choice I would have made, and so I think I agree that's just a red herring, a one-off, just because he's a good guy, wanted to save Kenny from the bullies or whatever. I don't think this means he's in the Elite now. So
I think he's gonna get the beat down next week. Or,
yeah,
we
got to watch BTE.
Hangman comes for the save. So
yeah.
Well, Greg, let's get into Wardlow. Third time's a charm. No? Yes? Maybe so. But and the Arn Anderson pairing, Greg, like we gave him Tully Blanchard. Are we just going to run through the four horsemen that are still here? We're going to give him, Lex Luger at some point. Give him, Wyndham. Is he still around? Magnum TA, is he still around? Like, I don't know what. I'm very surprised that Wardlow wins the title again. And like I said, I mean, if this thing doesn't work with Arn Anderson, Greg, Wardlow might be out. I mean, I would be out of ideas for him.
Yeah. I don't see what the point of doing the Arn Anderson thing is. I mean, he's gone the manager route, and it didn't go well for him. I mean, he had Tully for a little while. We had MJF. He's doing the security heavy bit, but still kind of the same blueprint.
Yeah.
And until he broke free and started doing things on his own, he didn't get over. So, as much as I love Arn Anderson, I think his time is coming past, just like Sting and the other old timers. And I don't see anything new under the sun with him bringing, Arn. At least Arn left the Waffle House clipboard, backstage.
He doesn't need his coach shirt. Is it
Right.
better
But
vest?
not yet. Anyway, let's see what happens
You
next
think he's
week.
got the
But
gun, Greg? Does he have the Glock on him though?
yeah, he insinuated it. Did he? Did they reach in to,
Oh
do
man,
the Steve Austin bang at him
yeah.
with the just the
Like
finger pistol?
like we said,
So
I just I really want to get behind Warlow. The guy looks like he wants to be a good top star. He's got the look. He can. His promos aren't bad, Greg, but it just seems like everything they throw for him, you know, just hasn't worked out. I mean that, and like we said, I mean it really started with the MJF stuff because MJF we were just so clueless about. I think that just totally ruined the momentum, and it's not been recaptured. So,
yeah,
um, but anyways, Jay White gets a good win, his first outing, and Commander is officially all elite. Greg, they shared that graphic on their Twitter page, so we will see a lot more of Commander, I'm sure. By the way, I know a lot of people go about it, Greg. What do we think about the top rope antics of Commander? Are do you think it's too gymnastics esque, or are you okay with it?
right now I'm okay with it. I know that's his thing, and the announcers definitely put that part of his game over
Yeah.
many times before he even attempts it the first time.
Mhm.
I'm a little worried about him, to be honest with you, that like we know, one wrong step and boom, your neck is broken on the mat and or outside the ring. So it's an awesome thing to see when he runs across the ropes and then he springboards off the parallel rope and goes flipping into the um, out of the ring. So it looks awesome, but I
There
worry
are
about
times
him.
it takes forever to set up the ring spot too,
Yeah,
or the walking, the tightrope type spots. So, and I saw some people comparing it to the Undertaker. I'm like, the Undertaker walked like 2 steps and then jumped down. Like
right.
the Undertaker did not walk. I mean, I guess every once in a while he might go towards the middle of the ring rope, Greg, but his was pretty quick and came down. Like sometimes we have Commander setting it up, and then I guess if you played up like, oh, the person scouted him, so he can't hit it, a few times, that's okay. Because then when he
Yeah,
does hit it, it's even bigger. But like you said, it's part of his character. So, but hopefully they're never too moisture. It's not too damp up there because, like you said, one small step and he'll be on
yeah,
Botchamania, and they might not let him do the ring spots again or the rope spots again. So the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn picked up a win over Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, Jake Hager. You had what was that? Parker trying to pull out the loaded comb. That didn't work, but um, yeah, there's that.
yeah. The loaded comb.
Loaded
Right.
comb, Greg. That is our official recap of that. So we also saw. Did we see people fighting for Mark Briscoe's attention? Trying to. So because tonight we're going to get what is it? So we're getting FTR with Jay Lethal with Jeff Jarrett going against the varsity athletes at Slim J. So we're going to get a Mark Briscoe and a pole match, right?
Sounds like it. I mean,
So,
man, they're getting a little hokey with these stories, and we love seeing Mark Briscoe involved in anything right now.
yeah,
But man, I mean, they're just kind of
like
making him a
you're just throwing them on TV.
right.
So here's kind of what's their plan for tonight. Obviously, we won't recap it because it hasn't happened. But like I said, John Moxley, Christopher Daniels, he better protect the good eye Greg in this match because that screwdriver might come into play again. So we'll see how that plays out. Jade Cargill, we are going to get Taya or Taya Valkyrie right on Dynamite, Greg. So does she
Yeah.
take the title off? I mean, she has to win, right?
I think this may be a situation where maybe she wins by disqualification and then gets a rematch at
Double or nothing.
Double or nothing. Yeah.
Okay. Julia Hart, I feel like she's a Rampage standby. Greg, she'll get a match against Kira Hogan. Vikingo and Listico, if I can say those names right. They'll go at it. I can't remember. Is El Hijo del Vikingo, is he officially signed, Greg?
I haven't seen that he is.
Yeah, I think we're just still kind of keeping them in matches here. And I think he's still got some independent dates to finish up. But
yeah,
I'm guessing
need to.
I was going to say, I assume we see he's all elite signing soon. And we'll also, I completely forgot, Greg, Jeff Hardy's back.
Great.
So we'll get the ultimate deletion match, or a Hardy compound match with the Hardys and Hook and Isaiah Cassidy against whoever they're facing in the firm. So that should be something to watch, Greg. This has to be the last chance, right, for Hardy, Jeff Hardy, right?
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, one more screw up and you're gone. I mean,
I'm afraid it might be a screw up to,
yeah, that he never comes back from.
Yeah,
he's past 9 lives. He's on his 12th, 13th, 14th. Guy just can't get right and stay right, and that sucks because we love Jeff Hardy.
You don't want to see it end like this, so hopefully he does.
Exactly. And I would love this if it was a TNA style Hardy compound final deletion match, because they were amazing at doing the deletion matches from the compound and the production they put in on it.
I guess that will be
every single one.
Do we get a cinema, or do we just get kind of a camera there style match, Greg? But because we did see, the Sting and Sting and Darby Allin against, who was that? Was it Wardlow with somebody? Like that weird. Who was that? But you know what I'm talking about? That one match.
It was Team Taz, wasn't it?
Yeah. Team Taz, sorry. And that was really
probably
good.
Starks and
there was somebody big, right? Hobbs, maybe
Hobbs and Starks, I think.
Yeah. And so when they do the cinema matches, they could do it up, and I'm like you said, I would hope for that. But I also wonder if we'll just have we cut to you live at the Hardy compound and here's the match. But then we got to move on. Stokely. Now Stokely is going after Maxiel, though, Greg. So maybe Maxiel Hardy gets involved with this because, we need more of the Hardy kids on TV.
Sure.
He doesn't want to go after Revved, though, because Revved, I don't think anybody wants to mess with Revved. So, yeah. What about some last call, Greg? Your Suns, they're up 2-1, correct? I think they have a game tonight.
That's right. 2-1. This one's still in LA before they go back to Phoenix for the next game, and crucial that they get this win, even though they're up. Denver is making short work of Minnesota, and they want to stay on the same path with Minnesota as far as not having a long series and saving their legs for the team that's going to deserve it. LA doesn't have Paul George. They don't have Kawhi Leonard tonight. And so they need to take care of business and get this wrapped up in 5 so that they can stay in step with Denver, who's probably going to sweep Minnesota in their next game. So,
and the minutes on KD, I've heard, has been high. Playing a lot of minutes, and Booker, right?
Yep.
They've been pushing the 38, 39 minute mark, I think, of playing time.
Booker's been killing it. He's scored 109 points in his first 3 games. The guy is on fire.
His 40-point games, I think he's one of the top 40-point game guys in the playoffs now.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. in his young career. Um, I'm still rooting for the Kings, Greg. I would love to see the Kings take out the Warriors. They got to get it done tonight. I think they play. Did they play tonight? I thought I saw. No, they play tomorrow. So um, I think the Kings got to get a win there. Sixers are up 3-0. The Hawks got to win. What about Grizzlies and Lakers? That feels like that's going to go 7, doesn't it?
It looks like it, and I'm hoping that the Grizzlies win. I want the Lakers out of the mix. I want the Warriors out of the mix, and I love the Warriors, but all the teams that are the biggest threat to my Suns, I want them out of there.
Yes.
So if the Warriors lose, my heart will not be broken, even though I love the Warriors. I want all roadblocks removed to get my Suns and Kevin Durant into the finals. I'm loving the beef that's going on with LeBron James and Dylan Brooks. I think
that's a little side piece story, it sounds like.
Yeah, he's one of the chief trash talkers probably in the league, and he's out on calling LeBron old in a post-game press conference. And LeBron is like, I'm not going to talk about that, but you could tell he's annoyed by it.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully that works in their favor, and not worried about Memphis because they're not going to have John Morant, at least not at full strength. So they're less of a threat than the Lakers would be.
A lot of high stars injuries, right, Greg? Like, we don't know what people are like, what's going on. I think it's just the playoffs pick up, the intensity picks up, and that happens.
Yeah, everybody's got big injuries happening now, except for my Suns.
Your son? Oh no! That's on one for you.
Exactly.
You just jinxed it, Greg. Kevin Durant rolls his ankle in the warm-up line.
Well, exactly. They've had all their huge injuries during the year.
Put them in,
and now they're ready.
Well, did you agree with the Draymond Green suspension? I mean, the guy's got a reputation, Greg. Like, he's got to know to hold back.
His Draymond, he's not going to change, and I think it was unfair. You know, give him a.
Sabonis did put the leg out as well, though, right? I mean,
yeah, he grabbed his leg. He was on the ground, and he grabbed Draymond's leg, and he was trying to run past him.
Yeah,
and he could have pulled it. He could have turned his knee. He could have twisted his ankle. He could have had a serious injury. And
now you have the Warriors calling out Sabonis for using the ball, right? For too much, because Sabonis has that move where he takes the ball and pushes it into your chest a lot of times. So they're trying to get the refs to kind of watch that now. So Sabonis will be a marked man tonight, though. I think this is the first game at Golden State, right? So I guess no, that's tomorrow. Oh no, they've already played the Warriors, but so because the Warriors got to win, never mind. Let's say Sabonis was probably a hated man there in the Bay Area. So I love Sabonis, Greg. You know, me being a Pacer fan, though, I really miss that guy. But that's why I joke my Pacers of the East, because I really wanted to see him stick around. But obviously, my Pacers need to do what they need to do, and they have a big chance now to get a good draft pick. And some people are saying, you know, maybe we get a nice. I don't know what they're looking for. You know, free agent wise, Greg. I think that's the hardest thing. You know, do you get a veteran guy? You know, or do you get maybe a 4 to 5 year 4 or 5 year guy that's middle of the road but needs something more? So I'll be curious to see what we do the off season as far as my Pacers are concerned, because I want the playoffs. Like, I hate, you know, last Saturday the playoffs kicked off, Greg, and I was like, it was a nice sunny day in Indianapolis, and you just have that energy when, you know, stuff's happening in your city. That is why May's so awesome, though. I feel like May here, you know, the 500's at the end of the month, Greg, but like every day, every weekend kind of feels like we're getting closer to that. So May is a different energy here in Indianapolis, but hopefully next year my Pacers, I mean, even if it's a play-in game, I'll take it, but I'd rather be in the playoffs legit. So
You
but
got
you
something
call,
much more interesting coming up. We got the draft coming up on
we do
Thursday.
have the
So
draft. That's true. Friday and then
what
Monday.
are your Colts going to do?
Oh, yeah, that I I think it's Richardson. I think they're okay with the project, Greg, but that guy's got a lot of upside, and we don't need to win right away. Chris Ballard is, like some have said, he's probably stay for the next 3 years, which is crazy because this is year 7 for him. So that would be a decade, of not a playoff win. I don't. We made the playoffs that one year and lost, but I mean, 10 years with a GM at that rate, Greg, that's pretty. That's pretty unprecedented. Most coaches get a year anymore if they don't win in that season. You know what I'm like? So I'm seeing Richardson, but I mean, Levis seems like a more surefire, ready to go guy sooner rather than Richardson. But I don't know. There's something about the upside of Richardson that really intrigues me because of what the NBA is going. I don't know if you need those traditional, quarterbacks right now. So, and your Chargers, you're towards the bottom of the draft, right?
Yeah, I
Not
think
bottom, like 20s.
we're in the teens.
Teens, okay.
The teens.
What
So
do you guys needed?
we need some of everything. Still need some O-line help. We still need running back if we're going to let Austin Eckler go.
Oh, that's right.
So I wouldn't mind them trading up and taking Bijan Robinson
Okay.
if they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Eckler has not signed anywhere else, and it sounds like the well is dry as far as him getting offers to go anywhere. So hopefully, I'll keep my fingers crossed that they can work something out. He just comes back to the team. We don't have to worry about that. And the franchise for a running back right now is $10 million, which is a steal right now for any position group. So I'm hoping they can work something out with Eckler because he needs to stay with the team. But if they let him go or trade him away on draft night, getting Bijan Robinson in return, I would take that. Otherwise, they definitely need to get more speed for Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Get some wideouts in here that can fly and let him use his deep ball because his deep ball has been absent the last season and a half.
You still got Keenan Allen. He's the big wideout threat, right?
Yep. Keenan's still here. Mike Williams is
That's
the big
right.
guy, the one that's going to go up and get it, 6'5" and runs like a deer. So,
yeah.
But they still need that extra one who takes the top off the defense.
Well, that's like my Colts. Like, there's a lot of gaping holes, but I mean, you figure you got to get it right at quarterback. And most of us here, we're probably not going to know for a few years, a couple years, Greg. Like, we might not know if this guy's right this year. You might just play part of Minshew, most of the season, and then if you're really falling apart, maybe you give the rookie a shot. But I'm also hearing, do they want to trade up and make sure they get there? Maybe they have their eyes on Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Like, do they need to? But you're probably going to have to give up a lot to get up there. So, I just think I feel like they're going to be comfortable with where they're at and almost have to draft whoever's left. Even though it sounds like maybe who's second? The Cardinals are there. Like the Cardinals might not pick a quarterback, so you could almost have you might have 3 shots. You might have Stroud, or you might have Bryce Young, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson available. And then because it does sound like Stroud's going number 1, right? I mean, I haven't heard much difference of opinion there, because the Panthers need to finally, get on their way and find their quarterback. But yeah, I think it's amazing Chris Ballard's getting this many years, Greg, and to do what he can do. Because, like I said, most coaches are lucky to get 2 or 3 years sometimes anymore. So he's on year 7 or 8. So, but that is all we got. Catch us next week live at 11 a.m. Saturday mornings for all your wrestling news. We'll catch up on Rampage if we need to, maybe the next couple Rampages. We'll give recaps of the draft, of course, because SmackDown will have the first night, so that's going to be something to see, especially with the champions. Greg, do they kind of get out of the mix and just stay where they're at? But see some call-ups possibly, and then we'll finish up the draft on Monday, and then, of course, recap that next Saturday. So we got a lot to talk about coming up soon. So looking forward to it. And, of course, as always, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the day, and hopefully got some nice weather there, and enjoy your weekend. So we will talk to you guys next week, 11 a.m. Saturday morning.
Peace.